Well, grab a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Dean Davis, the Flip. We are
Flip.
back with all types of shenanigans. This is a heavily white episode of the Flip. Our producer, Ryan Bukoveski, has picked out these topics.
Blame it on the white guy, huh?
Oh.
No, listen, I'm not going down for
If
any
I
of this.
pick race stuff, don't pick race stuff.
No, I'm
Pick
joking.
white stuff.
He
pick
does a
white
great
stuff.
job.
Okay.
He does a great job. And listen, I put everything you had in this one. Usually I'll edit, but I was like, let me put it all down. If we have enough time, we'll get to it. But
I
what do you
knew
have to
this
say?
was a hot week. I knew this was a hot week of Flip topics.
Yeah, you went
I felt good
grabby.
about this list.
You went grabby. You went mad grabby. I'm Kenneth Davis, and you know who he is. His name is
D the Monspro. What's happening, everybody? Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show, Instagram and Twitter. There you go. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. We're all over all platforms. iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, everything. Just simply go to the Twitter bio, click on a link, and it can take you to everywhere we're at. We're on iHeartRadio and YouTube, where you're watching us right now. Okay, I'm on Twitter and IG at Demons1, DEMONZE1. Ken's on Twitter and IG at That's Davis, executive producer of the D and Davis Show. Well, everything he does, everything for us. As Ken just said, he went grabby for this Flip. Grabby. Ryan Bukoveski, Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski and IG Ryan B. Ski 1. Of course, we have Sydney Brown. You can follow Sid on Twitter and IG at SidKid80. And making a return to the Flip, our main man, our bro, Anthony Gill, Tony Gill. You can follow him on Twitter and IG, believe, right? At the Tony Gill, Tony?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There you go. All right.
I don't know if I've ever heard you call me Anthony Gill.
I think when we first met, I was calling you Anthony. Then it just went to Tony. I prefer to call you Anthony, but I don't know. I know the streets know you as T-Fish. That's what the streets know you as Tony, so I ain't gonna throw it out there on you like that. I prefer to call you what your mama named you.
You want to start giving his Social Security out?
Oh, real quick, shout out to Tony and his family. I saw y'all did the virtual church, your mass. Was that around the dinner table, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we've kind of shifted to now that we can't meet in large groups anymore. So all of our services have been on Facebook Live and Zoom conference. So
nice. Y'all church page. I mean, your church got a Facebook page. You want to shut it out for everybody? All the believers out there listening to the Flip, watching the Flip.
Yeah, Philadelphia Church of God in Christ. Just search that on Facebook, and you'll get. We should be the first one that pops up.
Okay,
real quick, you guys are still having services in the church. We talked about a little bit on the last Flip that basically everybody that works at the church is a family member. How many people are there when you're doing it, and how you guys social distancing so everybody kind of learns and knows what they need to do if they're going to do anything like that?
I haven't been in a while, so it's.
You don't have to work on Sundays no more, bro.
So social distancing.
Wait, hold on. So wait, everyone's getting up to go, and you just like rolling back over, like shit.
No, my brother, my dad, and my sister, they go. Mm-hmm. Me and my mom, we stay here.
Okay.
So she can see it on the television
and make sure everything's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, only about maybe 6 people.
That's what I said. Like William was playing. Is Guy still showing up to play the drums?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's only about 6 people that actually ends up in the building, and they're evenly spread out. Mm-hmm. You know. So, but yeah, man. I mean, at this point, I mean, a lot of people, they need their faith. Yep. And those connections with the people at their various churches to kind of keep going and keep their spirits high during this kind of unprecedented time. So definitely, we still want to move forward, and we appreciate it. And it also goes to show that everybody isn't about money grabbing. You guys are providing a service and looking out for people, and you guys provide a service even when people show up. So definitely keep your parents safe, keep everybody safe, Tony, but definitely keep giving the word out there because, as you said, people still need it in these trying times. And actually, we're going to talk a little bit about Hulk Hogan, talking about his faith later, and how people need to come to God. We don't need vaccines. Hogan? Yeah, we got one of my villains, but we're going to start off the show with a new villain of Ryan's. Ellen Degeneres has taken down a video in which she made a joke comparing quarantine to jail. On Monday, Degeneres kicked off her premiere remote episodes by remarking on the effects of the coronavirus outbreak have had on society. This is her quote.
One thing that I've learned from being in quarantine is that the people. This is like being in jail. It's what it is. She said, according to CBS and the News. It's mostly because I've been wearing the same clothes for 10 days and everyone here is gay. I didn't read this before. That was actually funny. That was actually funny. People are literally. So this is what someone pointed out that was upset with her on social media. People are literally dying in jail from COVID-19 while Ellen is out here making jokes about it. And people went on to kind of get on her about, the fact that she's in a multi-million-dollar mansion and people are in, 6x6 jails and how it's not funny. She did pull down the post. I have to say a little bit that people are overblowing this. We did come out, Ryan picked up an article about 2 weeks ago about how mean, or maybe last week, how mean Ellen, no, I think it was 2 weeks ago. But then we still did another Ellen one last week. This is the third week of Ellen Degeneres being on this show.
I don't think it's been 3.
It is. It's been 3. We had one last week. I promise you, it was 2 weeks ago, but we had an Ellen one last week. But still, I will cape for her and say, I don't think this was the worst, and she was joking. And of course, we still know. I mean, I have a brother that's in jail, and I don't even know what's going on. I actually been really thinking about it a lot lately. But still, she's just joking. I don't think it's as serious as people are making it out to be. D.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. She's a comedian, and she's trying to say something funny, trying to do something funny. As you just said, Tony, his family is doing still having service for people who definitely need help. Also, at the same time, there you go, Ken blowing his nose. Look at him.
Can't mute your mic, Ken?
Wash your hands.
It's every day. It's every week. Every week.
I pulled it down.
Never heard that.
I pulled it down. Wait. What I do this time? I didn't do it on mic.
We heard it all come out.
Yeah.
It was on mic.
So,
It's just snot. It's not COVID. It's not COVID snot. It's regular snot. Relax.
Wait a minute. I'm talking about how Tony's family is still giving the word out and all that.
That's why you social distance.
That's true. But no, I mean, but at the same time, also too, you want to try to have some fun, right? You see here, Lori Lightfoot, people making the memes about her. She even put the one out. The Tony, I think, let us know about this one. At least I'm the first person. I mean, Tony's the first person I saw post this talking about your jump shot is still gonna be weak. Stay your ass in the house. So you still want to have some fun, but at the same time, if you're in jail, and we talked about this, I believe last week I brought it up, talking about a lot of people are upset that a lot of jails or correctional facilities are letting people go who are either non-violent offenders or are very, very sick. But then at the same time, so people upset the simple fact that they're getting let go. But if you leave them inside the jail, the mechanism of the percentage of them spreading to each other is like crazy, crazy high. So it is a sensitive topic because men and women are dying in jails because of the COVID-19 instance, but at the same time, when we can, she's a comedian. You got to understand where she's coming from. She's trying to say something funny.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes everything doesn't land, but it is what it is.
I kind of brought this up though as a larger conversation because we just kind of keep seeing this over and over from celebrities complaining or joking about, being stuck in quarantine. Mm. Is it? And a lot of people seem to have a harsh reaction to it in general. Whenever that happens, social media comes out hard. Is that justified? Or
That's hate. That's hate right there. That's hate. Let's mean, dude, if I had a mansion right now, I would have a lot of things to do, but I would get tired of doing them. And I still would want to get out of the house. Like, I have no problem with spending some time inside of the house. I actually enjoy it. But trying to be responsible, let me lead with that. Trying to be responsible, only going out for the most part when I need to. I have not been outside in a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, D, when's the last time you've been outside? Like,
I just came back from getting the car oil changed, so I just came from outside.
Yeah, because y'all really gonna be driving that motherfucker around. Sydney, I mean, you gotta work.
It was due. I had an oil change due.
Yeah, you're not even driving the damn thing. You don't need the oil change. All right. Ryan, when's the last time you've been out?
We did a grocery run on Monday.
Okay. Tony, when's the last time you've been out?
Last night I went to Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
When's the last time before that, Tony?
Such a Tony answer.
Where'd you get drive-through food the day before?
It was Wendy's.
I was gonna say Wendy's.
So outside of the church, you affecting all these other motherfuckers, huh?
Gotta get my chicken sandwich.
Listen, I will say this: we have said, "Damn, we wish it was a Chick-fil-A around here right now, buddy." It's a damn shame.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, you probably go all the way on 95th.
Come on, there's no traffic. It's an easy fly up.
That's true. Anybody driving that far for that chicken? It's good. It ain't that damn good.
Wait a minute, Sid, when the last time you been out?
He said works.
Oh.
That's why I ain't asking. Sid works. Sid was out yesterday, dude.
Well, D, Monday through Friday.
Right? Like, what the hell is going on here? Sid, when the last time you been out? He has to work.
Right. Outside of work, guys did a little small grocery run yesterday.
All right.
And then
It's something different.
2 days before, I did go out for a nice walk for about 45 minutes before I went back in the house.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to take
big
a
of you,
walk.
Sid.
What type of walk was it? You were by yourself in this walk, correct?
Yeah.
Full stalker mode or halfway stalker mode?
All right, that's enough. That's enough out of you, young man.
I'm joking. I'm joking. He's not that type of. I got a question real quick for y'all, real quick. And this is something I want to open up with, but then we have something more important to talk about, Tony and Church. Real quick, how much of this NBA 2K thing have you guys watched on ESPN over the last couple of weeks?
Zero.
All right, I've seen parts of it.
I have been looking on it afterwards on social media, like the clips and stuff like that.
Yeah, I seen that, yeah.
I've seen parts of about this. I saw it right now. I saw Devin Booker against Rui Hachimura. Now it's Derrick Jones Jr. against Montrezl Harrell on ESPN. Only reason I want to bring this up. I don't play 2K like that anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure these guys are really busy, but I feel like if I had about a week, and I got the new 2K, I still haven't opened it up and played it. If I have a week, I feel like I can bust most of the players in the NBA's ass watching them play.
Why you say that? Dude, they ain't got nothing else to do besides play basketball and play video games.
They're not running, dude. They're basically not even running plays on this damn thing right here, man. You watch it. It's like a dude dives. He may throw it to a post player right at the elbow. He gonna try to back it all the way. It's like, rush them. They got all these skilled players on here. It's like, you know the plays. You play them. Run some damn plays. That's all.
You're right here running. You running plays on 2K?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like, as soon as I get used to running the play, especially because the only person I'll play is Kenton, and Kenton's going to try to force shots. He doesn't try to look for the open man. Dude, I'm swinging the ball around all day long on that bad boy. Like, come on now. All right.
All right.
That's my hot take.
Quick thing. How interested are you guys in a poker tournament that's being played today by a bunch of celebrities like Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Tom Brady, Adam Sandler, Sarah Silverman, amongst quite a few, like Bryan Cranston's also there, John Hamm, Tobey Maguire, Adam Levine. Any of you guys would be interested in watching that? The shtick is for Feed America, and if you donate, you can actually interact with them.
You would sneak that in at the end of it real quick, wouldn't you?
So
everything for charity.
Isn't the whole thing about poker is like secrecy and not knowing cards, but everybody would know each other's cards?
No.
Well, it's all from virtual at home, so you can't see their cards. You can see their faces.
But if you're donating to a specific person and you can interact with them, does that mean like, all right, I get to see this person's cards?
No, why would they get to see your cards?
Yeah, I don't think that's part of it.
Wait a minute,
I don't think
Tony,
it's specific person. I think if you donate, you can interact with any of them.
Okay, Tony, are you saying like, hey, I want to donate or interact with Matt Damon? So in order for me to donate, I need to see what Matt Damon has.
He wants to see.
But I'm saying
I got him $250.
But what I'm saying is
they're not playing with actual cards. I don't think.
But yeah, that's my point. If they aren't playing with the actual cards, they're virtual cards. Like there's the technology out there where, and you're trying to broadcast it too. Like,
yeah, you can probably do it.
Yeah, think about those games that people play poker on their phones. All you're doing is taking one of those games and you play against real people, and you can see your cards and you don't see their cards. So either they have to fold or ante up. They're just probably going to use one of those games and they're going to do the same thing that they're doing with NBA 2K probably.
I would say this much. I used to play NBA 2K a lot back in the day, but I like poker. And I kind of grew up in a house with my grandmother was is still a poker shark. She's a card shark. So I like playing poker. So this would probably entertain me. I like watching poker. So
yeah, pass. when we're not locked in the house, I don't watch celebrities play poker, so I'm not going to watch it. Actually, I did a little bit when it became hot, like 15 years ago. Yeah. I would watch a little bit of it, but as a whole, like I'm good. Those people don't interest me playing poker enough to do that.
To me, all these things, the poker, the 2K, if there's not a good enough banter between all the participants, that's what makes it boring. Like, they got to be talking. If they're smack talking and doing this stuff, then it's actually pretty dang entertaining.
Is Kevin Hart doing it? Because he's a pretty good poker player too. You know.
No, I don't think he is doing it.
He's a really
I was talking to my old roommate who was black, and he was. I told him the list.
You be black. You whore, you. You guys think you're my first blacks.
I told him the list of these poker players. He's like, "Where's all the black people at?"
Right? It's like dying of COVID.
Well, I said Tom Brady's there, so you know it's got to be white.
Ooh, I like that one. But no, I don't need it. All right, back to the show, the rundown.
All right.
At Next Door, a community-oriented, sustainable restaurant chain owned by billionaire Kimball Musk, workers were told that they were part of a family. Not a family as wealthy as Musk, the self-proclaimed philanthropist and restaurateur, known for his signature cowboy hat and his younger brother, multi-billionaire Tesla CEO Elon Musk. But workers at Next Door did have something called the Family Fund, a pool of money they contributed out of their paychecks. The fund was supposed to be there for them in time of crisis. Then a crisis hit, and the Family Fund wasn't there for them at all. Next Door and Kimball Musk touted themselves as all about empowering community, taking care of people, and wanting to invest in people, said former manager who has been putting in $2.50 a check in the fund. That's part of the shock, is that it was all a hoax. As the restaurant chain grappled with the business impact of the coronavirus, Next Door told employees on March 16th that if they would temporarily shut down operations for 2 weeks, managers would have to take pay cuts, and they were told that hourly workers would get no pay at all, though they were told they would have access to paid sick time. But that never got it. That never happened. Many applied for the grants from the Family Fund, and according to several people, what happened next was pretty shady. 5 days after temporary shutdown, management told workers that the Family Fund was changing in an effort to better help our employees. We're in the process of reviving our fantasy program, and all you have to basically do is go and reapply. But employees never got the link to reapply. Just 2 days later, on March 23rd, about 100 of them were officially out of a job as Musk closed 4 restaurant chains in 11 locations.
Damn.
He a billionaire.
Billionaire stealing money from.
He was like, nah, these numbers don't look right. Get out of here. Shorty could have took 1 million and basically been like, okay, y'all gonna keep y'all jobs for the next few months until we come back in. And he was like, nah, son, the numbers don't add up.
Dude, it's amazing how you see a lot of companies, especially run by billionaires, and even in they pay us pocket. They on their black card. They got the money to keep these people working while all this is going on within the country. Basically, this quarantine is happening. The lockdowns happen across the country in so many states, right? Mm-hmm. They have the money to keep these people on the payroll with healthcare too. They have the money, but they'd rather push them off, put them onto the government, push them onto the unemployment rolls instead of just going ahead and just saying, "Yeah, I got y'all." This is the shit that's going on and why so many people are upset about what's happening. A lot of things could have been avoided, and at the same time, people are getting kicked off. They're being either furloughed or let go overall. Now, like down in Florida, the last governor I read, Rick Scott, I believe he was the last governor, he set it up where basically people couldn't really even get unemployment. So now throughout the entire state, all they had was like $70 million or something like that to give out for unemployment. It's like, dude, all these people down here, like millions of people trying to find a job, and all you have is $70 million to pass out for unemployment. What kind of shit is this? What the hell is going on? So from billionaires to even politicians, man, this is the shit that really drives me crazy. That's straight up greed.
Nobody was really prepared. I mean, who was prepared for this? So nobody's thinking like, yeah, we got this emergency fund just in case something happened.
But you're a billionaire.
That's what I was say. You know who's prepared? The billionaire.
Yeah, to protect themselves. To protect themselves.
True.
That's true.
That's true. But they can still. They can still keep everybody on the payroll. They can still do it. They won't miss that money.
But you also got to think like, all right, along with them being you're basically saying that these people are responsible for these other people in a kind of apocalyptic type of time we're kind of living in right now. And is that fair? Is that just because they have a lot of money? Is that fair that they also have to be responsible for other people that they don't know? You can say they've already done enough by providing jobs, but also when they can't really afford to keep them around. Really,
he can't afford it, Tony.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm saying from their point of view.
Yeah.
Say, look, I've come up and I've worked hard to get to where I am today to live how I am living today.
Right.
But also putting on me that I have to be responsible for everybody else too is like.
All right, real quick. One, his companies live off of the infrastructure that our taxpayers pay for. All right. So remember that it's not just all in goes his way. Mm-hmm. When the thing that we always ask, and most of the politicians that we would likely vote for want the rich to put in a little bit more because they take a lot out of it.
Pay your fair share.
Yeah. Pay. So I'm not asking him to help the people that don't work for him. But and also, let me say this: I would still condemn him, but if he was one of those owners that you knew really didn't care about you, it wouldn't bother me as much because I knew what I was getting. But when you got the community fund and talking about we're family, don't lie to me, dude. Like, we better off just being I'm your worker and you're the employer than you try to make it seem like it's something more than that. And when shit hits the fan, you remind me that, nah, family, it ain't nothing like that. I'm just talking about those 400 and so employees. He can put something to the side and make sure that they can. Look, he doesn't have to pay them their full paycheck. He can get them 60% of that joint and I still be like, hey, it's better than nothing out here. But to be like, yo, it's all over and you're a billionaire. Now, small companies, I definitely understand why small companies. That's a difference. And even though you see those, I saw this bike shop in Washington, D.C. And dude was talking about how he's trying to go through the government stimulus package so that he can get enough money to pay off his employees so he doesn't have to fire them and he can retain them. At least make those efforts if you are a small company. But if you're a rich, like, dog, right now, if I'm a few billion up and I have like 1,000 people working under me, I can take care of this for about 6 months. Then again, I understand there's a reason why rich people are rich. All right. And that's not by just giving your money away per se, but until you die and you want stuff to be named after you. But I'm just still saying to the point, you don't give off this facade. And then when things really happen, you really show your true colors.
I want to say just one thing to that too, Tony. Like, I kind of disagree with your categorizing of this as being apocalyptic. It is in a way, but I would still say it's still a crisis. And we're asking everybody to play a role, whether it's social distancing or, working as a healthcare worker, whatever it is. We're asking people to still do a part.
Not have church services?
Right. And these, billionaires cutting people off, they're basically saying we're shirking away any responsibility. Like, they have to come together with us. And for them, they got more resources to keep people afloat and help them out during this thing. Because when you just say, hey, you're cut off and you're done, I mean, you're just letting people alone to suffer by themselves. And that's not the point of this thing.
I mean, you don't think that is a bit idealistic? Like, expecting if you've grown to get that much money, a billionaire, a millionaire, you're probably one of the shadiest, one of the most greediest,
you ain't lying about that.
One of the worst type of human beings ever. And we're expecting them to help people? I mean, of course I would like them to. Of course I want them to pitch in and do what they have to do to help other people in this trying time, but to expect them to go outside of their personalities to do something that does not benefit them, it gives them a couple PR points. Does that PR point, can they cash in those PR points later down the road? Like, hey, remember when I helped out? Give me, a couple 100 years of tax breaks for my family or something. Like, if it doesn't benefit them, I don't expect them to go above and beyond. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Tony, don't you think that that's the same thing, like asking people to stay in their houses, asking people not to go into work, asking people to do some of these things? Like, we're asking everybody to put on a certain burden to stop this thing from going on. It's not just
that burden is more. I mean, we can measure burdens, but they can make a case like, hey, you're asking more of me than to just stay in my house.
And again, isn't that come back to the point of when we're going with taxes, when we're going, like, you have a lot of privilege to expect to give back more. That's going to be just human nature.
Sit.
Yeah, it comes down to two things quickly. When it comes to money, people get funny. Like Ken said, people show their true colors. And number two, like we talked about with the churchgoers and the preachers last week, trying to form church services with 10 or more people. There's nothing wrong with being selfish, but when we all are asked to be socially responsible during these tough times, and this is another example of being selfish and going in the wrong direction, not really helping your fellow man out, especially when you have billions and billions of dollars in your pocket. You have enough to, like you said, keep your employees, your workers afloat during these tough times.
My only thing is, just to wrap this up, my only thing is, it wouldn't shock me if this company that Musk's little brother owns, older brother owns, and then he'll turn around and ask the government, hey, I need a business loan. Mm-hmm. So you just kicked all these people, you just fired all these people, and then you're going to turn around and go to the government and be like, hey, I need some money. That money ain't going to no workers. That money's going to their pockets. They just got rid of the oversight watcher. And what was the biggest thing that a lot of people was worried about? This bailout, if you want to say, this money going to these big companies. All they're going to do is either buy up more shares of their company or pocket the money. And that's what it seems like it's going to happen.
So I believe he's the one that owns the solar array. Because one does the rockets. Elon does the rockets.
That's Elon, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why he was trying to like kind of combine both of them with using alternative energy. So, I mean, he's a big in solar energy, he gets government subsidies up the
already.
Like, so come on. All right. Hulk Hogan is wrestling with religion. Yours. In a preaching Instagram post Monday, the pro wrestling great urged his Instagram followers to leg drop their wicked ways and turn to God for healing in the coronavirus pandemic. Quote, maybe we don't need a vaccine.
Oh, you got to do the Hulk Hogan voice.
Mean Gene, maybe we don't need a vaccine. Maybe we need to take some time, brother, on the isolation from the distraction of the world and have a personal revival where we focus on only the things in the world that really matter to Jesus.
With these pythons, we shall crush.
The hostess suggested people were wrongly worshiping athletes, actors, and musicians, and that the Almighty shut down stadiums and theaters in response. The pandemic has gutted the sports and entertainment calendar while social distancing has taken over to quell the spread of the virus. In imaging what God would say, Hogan wrote, you don't want to go to church and worship me? I will make it where you can't go to church.
Damn, Hulkster.
All right. In 2018, the Hulk Hogan was reinstated to the Hall of Fame after he made numerous apologies for his racist rants caught on tape. And a movie about his early days, The Rise of Hulkamania, is in the works right now.
Oh, interesting. Well, am I shocked that he's saying this? Probably not, because over the past couple of years, a lot of things that Hulk Hogan has said has come to light and completely crushed Ken's childhood spirit. But no. I mean,
racism is racism.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people now have a different view on Hulk Hogan, especially a lot of people of color, especially Black people. So I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with turning to your faith if you have faith in whoever you may believe in, to say like, hey, I'm praying for people to get through this. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just sometimes the messenger is kind of like, need to look at you a little bit sideways.
Yeah, and why are you giving the message? Sometimes, and I hate to say it, it depends on where a person at in their life and mortality when they decide to finally come to the Lord. You notice people that are atheists, when they get to be around 60-something, all of a sudden they love them some Jesus. When that darkness is approaching from the backside.
Yeah, but
please, Father, please. No, I know you can say he believed in Jesus. There's still people that say they believe in Jesus, don't believe. And their actions speak louder than words. Right. And also, if you paid attention, if you remember that reality TV show with his family, and just looking at Hulk Hogan back then, I mean, my man was basically pimping off his daughter to Scott Storch. So bump Hulk Hogan and anything have to do with Hulk Hogan. I won't watch the movie.
Wait a minute, I think she was dating Scott Storch.
She was one of his art, or he was working as an artist, but still, I wouldn't bring my 18-year-old daughter around Super Coke. That was Super Coke Scott Storch. Not today's Scott Storch. We know he's reformed himself. But Scott Storch used to keep a lot of yayo back in those days. Yeah. Like, they used to come to Columbia and they had 2 boats and they just left one at Scott Storch's house. And they took the other one to the rest of America.
Yeah, but Hulk Hogan, he's something else. Go ahead.
I mean, the social distancing and the stay at home, and people are going live all the time. People are really expressing themselves, I guess, in ways we've never seen before. But again, I mean, kind of like what Ken said, is like, I mean, your actions have to kind of speak for you. You can say a lot of good things, but your actions and what you do on that platform, speaks loud. Again, I don't know his life. I mean, he could have turned his life around or whatever. So I'm not going to speak to that part. But it's just funny and crazy that the Hulk Hogan, the guy that at end of a after the end of a video starts spewing out racism.
This is after he banged his best friend's wife.
Yeah, is going on this rant. So it's funny.
Real quick with the WWE, y'all see the XFL is wrapped up. They basically closed, fired everybody, and ceased all operations.
Yeah, they're gonna do that anyway.
They're just using this pandemic as a reason why to fold up operations. That's all this is.
It's called a Wednesday when it comes to the XFL. It was coming. It may not have been this Wednesday. It may have been next year's Wednesday, but it was going to happen on the Wednesday.
You don't think they was going to have another season?
They was going to have maybe 3. I mean, it's just I'm happy this time they were trying to be more sustainable and funnel players in instead of trying to rival the NFL, but it only takes so long before some of that newfangled wears off and you don't really care about it. Stick with wrestling real quick before we get out of here. We got a few minutes before we come back, rather. Ronda Rousey is walking away from the WWE. Is that important? How good was she as a wrestler?
Oh man, you know what? She was.
She said she may come back, but she'll only be a part-time player.
Part-timer. Yeah, and that's usually what people will come back. Most of the superstars come back if they have like a really big name. So you see a John Cena, you might see a Rock every once in a while, a Goldberg or whatever like that. And I think she kind of falls in that category as well. But the biggest thing with her, and I don't know if this is kind of like in wrestling terms, a shoot or a work. A shoot meaning is true, or a work is she's kind of like working the audience and working the crowd to kind of get the heat on her. People upset. She basically came out and said like the WWE fans or wrestling fans in general are ungrateful. So she's like, why do I want to deal with these like ungrateful ass fans? I don't want to do that in my life. She's kind of like, I think she was talking about an interview that I saw, portions of it, how she's kind of like downsizing her life and like, we don't need the money. We fine. So why do I have to go do that 24/7? Why do I have to go do that full time? We got these ungrateful ass fans. I was like, damn. So I don't know how she's working it, but
what was they supposed to do? Kiss her butt?
Well,
and she's playing a villain for the most part, right?
Not necessarily. She kind of came in as a baby face, as a good person, a good guy, a good woman, if you want to say. But I think a lot of wrestling fans, they're very weird. So it was like they hop on your bandwagon, they ride behind you like tough, or it's kind of like, nah, we'll fuck with you. You're not really a wrestler. You need to get up out of here. So she had a kind of a very mixed response from the fans. And for her to come in, I will say this though, to give her props, she came in, she didn't go through like the developmental part of it. She came right in on main TV, picked up the craft pretty quickly because she's already a well-trained MMA fighter. Yeah, she's got to figure out how to sell it, how to like the actor part of it. You know what I'm saying? She picked it up very well to her credit. But like she said, she just got a lot of bad, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of people booing her in a sense. So she's probably like, man, fuck this. I don't need this. This is fake.
Yeah,
anyway.
She said that. Fuck the fans.
Yeah, basically.
That's
basically.
not a good look.
But I will say, Vince McMahon, he throws money down for people that he really wants, and they take that money. She probably made a lot of fucking money. Her short time there. If she could just come do about a part.
What's a lot of money? So for us who don't follow wrestling,
millions.
How much, like roughly, how much money will a contract like somebody like her have over a year?
How much did Grunt get?
Yeah. I don't know what Grunk's contract is, but I know he's now kind of like he has a title there. But I'm sure, let's say for her to come over there to do it full time, and she was probably doing house shows as well. Let's say she made probably about $2-3 million.
Okay.
So if she come back part-time and it's just kind of like spot things, big main events or big pay-per-views, they get a piece of the buy rate. They get all that kind of percentage kind of level it out between the superstars, whatever like that. So I don't know if she'll make that much, but if she can still go, let's say if you still come in, you can do part-time and you work half the time, you make $1 million, that's still a pretty good gig.
All right. You know what? We're going to come out, join the second half of the show, and finish out Dan Davis to Flip.
D and Davis, the flip, we are back, all right, in full force. And actually, I wanted to kind of give some numbers real quick. We was last talking about Ronda Rousey and a contract, and I said that she probably made about 3 million. She made 1.5. So if she comes back and you say she does part-time, then I guess she'll probably make between, let's just say 500,000, maybe $1 million. That would be my guess. But it was just kind of crazy, just kind of looking at some of the numbers and how much wrestlers actually make. Like, real quick, Brock Lesnar makes $12 million a year, and he's a part-timer.
But that's because of what he did for the wrestling and UFC.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a huge
you got to entice. You got to entice. He can, yeah. But he always has leverage to say, I can go over here. That's actually that's why he
doesn't fight anymore because last time he got
he's got a mega suspension coming.
But actually, also I think it's because that's why wrestling fans don't like Ronda Rousey is because of wrestlers fluctuating back and forth.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, like John Cena.
Oh, she ain't going back.
Well, yeah, she said she'll go back as a part-timer, but I don't know. So John Cena makes
to UFC.
Oh, no. She ain't going back to UFC. No, not at all.
She way done.
Yeah. John Cena make 8.5. Roman Reigns is 5.5 million. Randy Orton 4.5. And I believe a lot of women did give Ronda Rousey some heat because she came in not ever doing it, but she has a name in the draw. She's making 1.5. The next one is Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter. She makes $550,000. So
yeah, I don't think doing part-time, bro, she's gonna get $1 million.
I say between 500,000.
I think it's closer to 300,000 to 500,000. Because if it's part-time, she's been doing this for what, at least 2 years now?
She did it for about. She was on the roster for like a year and a half, something like that.
Year and a half. So you're saying she made in a year and a half 1.2, 1.5. 1.5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't
know if this is annually or over the contract. It just says base salary. So yeah, probably over the contract then, whatever she had. But remember, she has a big name, so I don't know.
They don't like her though. You just told us that.
Yeah. No, she has.
Does she have incentives for fake wins?
For fake wins? Man, it's all, you know what? It's all about merchandising. It's all about merchandising. So you had that base salary, but then you move them a lot of T-shirts. Saying T-shirts, gear, toys, you get a percentage of all that. So she probably make a nice little chunk of change on that too.
All right. Okay. Ezra Miller appears to have choked a woman at a bar and regged the check.
The actor?
Flash, Iceland, in a video that surfaced online Sunday night. Despite confusion online whether the video was a joke, with memes already emerging on Twitter where Miller's name has been trending, a source established that he had, I believe the name of this place was established by Prioke Kafash. I'm not even going to try. Has confirmed that to Variety that this was a serious altercation at this bar and that the man who was identified as Miller was escorted off the premises. The 7-second video shows a man saying, "Oh, you want to fight? That's what you want to do," to a woman who appears to be joking, who appears to be jokingly preparing herself for a fight and is smiling. Miller then grabs the girl by her throat and throws her to the ground. At this point, the person filming says, "Whoa, bro," and stops shooting the footage, ending abruptly.
Dang!
Variety has confirmed the incident took place at 6 p.m. On April 1st at again, this Preco, that's the name of the place, a trendy bar in Central. I think this is Reykjavik. I think that's the closest pronunciation for it. The Miller frequents this place in this town when he's there often. According to a source at the bar, the altercation took place after an individual identified as Miller was confronted by a group of eager fans who went quite pushy. Things then escalated with Miller losing his temper at one woman in particular. The staff, as we already heard, escorted him off the property. So Flash, in the words of Wayne Brady, asked, "Does Flash have to choke him? Does Barry Allen have to choke a bitch?"
Oh, he won't be Barry Allen. I probably won't be Barry Allen that much longer. We'll come out
this shit never make it out of motherfucking the Netherlands. Never get
This is during social distancing?
Yes.
This happened Sunday.
Social distancing happened in the Netherlands.
This happened Sunday. Listen, okay, great point you just made, Tony. And again, I don't know if this is going to cost him his career, especially if we don't see this video. If we don't see this video, it's not going to cost him his career. But let's just say it does. And we don't know in the Netherlands how they're going about social, as far as social distance. I think I was reading somebody the other day who hasn't, one of those Dutch countries up there, I don't know if it wasn't Norway, it was Sweden. I believe Sweden has not they have not done social distancing. Well, they say they practice it, but they haven't shut down anything. And their numbers are like higher than Norway and any other place around them by like two, at least double or whatever, right? Damn. It's still not like over here though, but for what their standard is over there, it's higher. And people are like, Sweden, what are you doing? But to think that, let's just say still that if social distancing is in place and he's out at a bar and may have crossed himself his career, that's compounding your fuck up.
Beyond compounded him. What are you doing? Why are you
leave?
Just leave. I was watching something. I've been binge watching since we've been at home. Hot Ones, the YouTube show where everybody eating the wings or like that because they have interviews with people, right? So
by the way, that Hot Ones, JT came out with one. I heard it's extremely boring.
Yeah. It was. I knew it was coming.
I saw a little bit of that one. It was a little bit boring.
It was.
Well, when you're a robot that sucks, it's hard to be entertaining.
Yeah, these wings are hot. These wings are hot.
Bro, this is hot. So Shaquille O'Neal is pretty good. Paul Rudd is pretty good.
They're usually all pretty good, except for JT, apparently.
But what does this have to do with Ezra Miller?
No. So I was going to bring up, I watched the one with, what's the kid from High School Musical?
Zac Efron?
Zac Efron, yes.
Oh, you guys jumped in on that one.
Yeah. So
I kind of knew, but I wasn't going to say that one, brother.
Don't you shame producers. Don't you shame producers for being
No respect in the streets. No respect in the streets.
Wait a minute. So he said he went to a Lakers basketball game and he sat next to Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio. And he said Leo was even like, dude, this is a lot of damn people, man. Like, what the hell is going on? We talking about like fans and talk about like the media and paparazzi, whatever like that. So basically he was just saying like, man, listen, you just got to walk away. You just got to leave. You can't interact with them because that's what they want. You just got to go. So Ezra Miller, no, he's not on the same level as him, but he has to understand like, dude, if a lot of people are gathering around you and obviously they know who you are, especially being Flash and the DC movies, if you're not comfortable with what's happening, just leave. Walk away. Get in the car. Be like a Flash. Get the fuck out of there. I don't know. But don't go around choke slamming chicks. You know what I'm saying? That's
you want to fight?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me premeditate this choke slam on you.
Yeah. What's going on?
Dean Davis do not condone any violence towards any people, particularly women.
Absolutely
say the least. But Ezra Miller does. First of all, go ahead, Sid.
As you always say, Dean, at the end of every show, please keep your hands to yourself.
Keep your hands to yourself. Don't go like, oh, you want to fight, lady? No, don't do that.
No. She was playing like, yeah, let's fight. He was like, oh, I'm going to show you. What if he start doing like the Flash vibrate on her throat? Okay, I'm taking it too far.
Yeah. Okay, Tony, what you have to say?
No. I mean, you said. What if it's Yaya Mayweather coming at you?
Oh.
Now who did she kill?
She didn't kill anybody.
I thought she did.
What the hell? She stabbed the girl that was at Young M.A.B's house.
She get like name, but okay.
I will give that lump-headed dude no respect whatsoever.
No, dude, and she get like
young boy NBA is dating Floyd Mayweather's daughter.
NBA young boy.
No, we're not giving it the proper respect. Okay, what are you doing?
What's the story? I thought you killed
listen,
somebody. Go ahead.
This is when I first seen it coming out, I'm like, wait. So when I first see it, people were talking about where he disrespects Floyd Mayweather on like Instagram Live and was like, her bitch ass father. He like, this my house. I didn't even know he was talking to Kodak Black. He keeps talking about somebody in jail talking about him. I'm like, who is this dude in jail, right? I found that out the next day, right? Because I'm not digging too deep into this childish slander. But his little high ass is walking around the house half naked and goes in there and sits at the bed. Now, imagine this. I'm sitting at the bed, she right here. He sits down at the bed. He like, hey, you know, they sit here talking about this, talking about my wife? My wife? Oh, bitch ass daddy. Right? Hold on while I blow my nose.
Wait a minute. So the story is saying that she's going to face up to 99 years in prison for allegedly stabbing a young boy never broke again home.
No, she stabbed the girl that he was messing with in the house. She came to the house. He had another girl there. Some of the stories make it seem like he set some of this shit up, or like it's just. Dude has always been a very confusing artist to me. Like he's like it's like it's one of those things like now where some artists are just artists because of they messed up and they here. Like there's no quality here to where there's something in the music that you can kindly get or you feel like, yeah, there's some growth in that. He's I hate to say it, even though he's a rapper, he's just a celebrity for being a celebrity, basically.
Here's a mugshot right there.
Floyd's daughter.
You
better watch your mouth talking about Floyd's daughter sitting before he punches you in the face.
her lace front is getting really bad right there. You can see it peeling off at the top of it. But also, too, I saw 99 years. I'm like, damn, she must have killed somebody.
That boy, he ain't gonna let his daughter go to jail that long. Even if they don't get along, he ain't gonna let his daughter go to jail that long. Floyd got enough money to take care of that.
Okay. 99.
And Floyd just had that post 2 days ago talking about since Roger died, his uncle, that he was practicing with Roger's son, saying that he wants to kind of be a trainer or even a mentee.
He wants to be
people.
the greatest trainer.
He wants to help. Listen, people sleep on Roger Mayweather, man. Roger Mayweather.
He was great.
He was a bad man when it came in boxing in general as a fighter himself. But when it came to training, after Floyd and his father did he took Floyd to I would say another level in a way, as the Floyd and his father couldn't get along for a period of time since Floyd's father was the person that got him into boxing, being another former fighter himself.
Yeah, Corona?
Who got that Rona?
His uncle? I don't think so.
No, he had. I think it was either diabetes. It was a pre-existing condition that he had for some years now that he was fighting. I don't know if it was something with his kidneys or if it was, but it was something with the organ. I believe he had an issue with. But I don't. Go ahead.
You know what I'm thinking about? Like how many deaths have been attributed to
Rona? That's not Rona.
Yeah.
Yes, somebody sent me an article today. This doctor, and it had to be somewhere west of the Mississippi because whatever television station it was K something. And one of the journalists was talking on air to a doctor, and the doctor said that for the first time, they told him to change death certificates. And usually they're told to just keep it factual. You're not supposed to try kind of come up and guess, even if the guess is strong. So he said that he had someone that died of pneumonia who at that time, son had symptoms but hadn't tested positive. I think the son may have tested positive later, but they told him basically on that birth certificate, right, that it was a COVID, death certificate, right, that it's a COVID death. So again, Tony, it goes back to, now if you can remember, and I'm sure Sydney and Dee, you guys will definitely remember this. You can remember what was that, like early 2000s, if not the end of 90s, when we had that severe heat during the summertime here, and people were dying
in the mid 90s. Yeah,
in the mid 90s. And but even then, you have to think like they were just writing down on a lot of birth certificates they died from heat stroke because they were at home.
Yeah,
I'm sure there were some people that's not why they died. But since that's what people were running with, that's what they ran with. So I'm sure going along with what you're saying, Tony, there are people that have been written off as COVID deaths that are people with pre-existing conditions that may have been dying anyway. I think that's what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, like I was reading an article. They said this guy died of coronavirus. He was positive for coronavirus, but he like hit his head and like broke his neck or something, and then they still put it on the
corona. That Rona make you go crazy.
Did you read this on Facebook? I hope you didn't read this on Facebook.
No, this is legit thing.
You know them sites you go to, Tony. It'd be like Russia.x snitch.
It was legit. And on his death certificate, they put coronavirus, and his family's like, no, he did not die of coronavirus.
Yeah, I have to talk to so many people. I've come across quite a few people, unfortunately, within my family, and it's kind of like, did you hear this? I saw this on Facebook. I'm like, don't believe that shit.
They sending a lot of stuff through Facebook,
man.
Bro. I be like,
I heard 5G gives you the coronavirus. Like, how the hell is a signal gonna give you a respiratory infection? No. I mean, it's more to it than that. But it's like, no, that's not true. Don't believe that shit.
So it's nothing to the 5G towers?
No.
Nothing at all.
Listen, if anything, you probably gonna get some radiation years, but it ain't giving you the Rona, all right? It ain't giving you the Rona. Here's a tip for everybody. Don't walk around with those
you should put your medical degrees all behind your back.
I should.
Hang them up on that wall.
Well, all right, but listen, let's just say like the 5G point. Like go back, let's all go back and study what radiation poison looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's a way that I haven't as of right now. I've looked at a lot of different things on the 5G conspiracy theory. I can't necessarily say that it's unproven. I mean, Wuhan was one of the first places with full 5G infrastructure in the world, basically. And this was, I remember hearing that months ago. Again, I'm not saying that's what I believe in. For me to be safe, and I don't trust the government, but I do trust, and I've said this on the show, capitalists don't just cannonball their motherfucking economies.
Right.
All right? They don't do that just out of, oh, fuck it, we're just going to do this. It's going to take us years to get this shit back the way it was. I don't believe in that. I think there's something still to it. But again, I look at them, some of them, I'm like, come on, y'all. But still, I still look at them because sometimes we forget that this government, especially people that look like us, has done very little to help us and done a lot to hurt us. And this is hurting us, and to act like, oh, well, it can't be them. They love us. But I always watch that. This is what I'm saying with me. I'm always leery of that.
Yeah, you should always have a healthy dose of skepticism. That's not what I'm saying. But just think about it. There's a lot of places around the world that don't have 5G, and damn near the coronavirus is everywhere around the world. So this is not 5G has nothing to do with the coronavirus. It doesn't. But still have a healthy dose. But see, the problem,
brother, when you talking about the vibrations. See, you got to understand the world is vibrating at a rate that it has never vibrated at.
It's decreased. The vibration has decreased.
But listen, what I'm trying to tell you, brother, that's your problem. You don't listen enough. Listen, you act like 5G just stay in one place.
Are you hearing me or you listening to me?
So wait. Can you get a phone call from Okasaka right now, brother? That means the 5G came from Okasaka to your house. You got to understand that. You got to break it down on different parallels when you breaking things down.
Don't believe that Facebook shit.
$5 in that collection plate.
Don't believe.
Who's that dude, Doctor? That be on the Breakfast Club. No, not on the Breakfast Club all the time. That be trying to get money for his school.
Oh, you talking about Umar Johnson?
Umar, yeah. Those memes kill me every time.
Yeah.
He was like, the Rona. The first thing you should have known is called Rona.
Oh, real quick. So Grace came down to me yesterday, and she was like, "Dad, so up entangled, Rapunzel hair is it cures people, and that's good because she comes from the kingdom of Corona, coronavirus, Corona." I'm like, what, Grace? What are you talking about?
Dropping jewels on your ass. Your old ass won't listen to that child. The child is supposed to lead you. She trying to educate your ass.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, she come from the kingdom of Corona, coronavirus. I'm like, Grace, what are you like? What did you see?
Hey, do us a favor real quick.
What's up?
Call Grace, give her your headset and lead the show. We only need real ones on this motherfucker.
Wait.
Grace started breaking it down. She came from the land of Corona.
This is why the 5G is killing us.
So I'm like, Grace, like, what are you hearing this from? Like, I watched it on she come from Corona. Like the sun itself, it looked like the coronavirus. So I'm like, hold on. So I'm like, I've seen
it's the corona around the sun. The glare around the sun.
It's the glare around it. It's
corona.
So I looked it up, and I'm
not the virus. Let me put that out there real quick, but not the virus. Like the sun is doing the corona. Go ahead, D. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I looked it up, and I'm looking it up on like the wiki page for this. It's an information and whatever like that for the movie. And I typed in Corona. So I'm like, wait the fuck. I'm like, sure enough, pops up Corona. I'm like, holy shit. She's like, see, I told you, Dad, the kingdom of coronavirus. I'm like, Grace, that is not the same. Then I show her a picture of the image of what the coronavirus looks like. I was like, that's what the coronavirus looks like. She looked at it, she's like, okay, no, I ain't got nothing to do with the sun. But still, she come from Corona. I'm like, all right, Gracie, come on, get out of here. So I'm like, I got a little conspiracy theory. She always pulls this shit. She like, hey, Dad, did you know that this character was in Frozen sitting next to what's the one of the Frozen princess, whatever the fucking princess names. And I'm like, Grace, what are you talking about? She brings me the tablet. It's like, see, right there. There's such and such. I'm like, holy shit.
Real talk though. So I watched Frozen for the first time like a week and a half ago.
Part 1 or part 2?
Part 1.
I haven't seen it.
You ain't missing nothing.
The first one's better than the second one.
That's what I think. So that means you really ain't missing. The first one is, I thought, and people said this in general because I was talking to Afton, and she was like, yeah. And she watched it. She said, I never understood kind of what the hype was. And I felt that from the outside. The best thing about that that movie is when old girl be like, I've never been afraid of the cold in the song because it's kind of haunting. But outside of that movie is mid. That's a mid Disney movie right there.
Listen, I think that was like the top grossing
movie
of all time.
And that's sad because this stuff is better than that.
Dude, Grace played the shit out of that movie when she was about 3. She was playing in my PlayStation. She put that DVD in my PlayStation 3, froze that motherfucker too. So she wore that movie out. She loved it. She loved part 2. So it's for kids, you know. It's for kids.
Yeah, we're gonna end up watching part 2, but I'm like, you can slow down on that.
We took the movies to that. I felt too on that shit.
Good. Get some rest. All right.
It was better than the first one.
You say what?
Frozen 2 was better than the first Frozen.
Whoa. Let's run this back real quick.
Hot takes right here. Hot take Tony strikes again.
Wait, tell me. Let's investigate this for a second. How old are you?
28.
You're 28 now?
No,
I thought you were 27. I thought you were 27.
You're 27.
How you don't know how old you? The point I'm trying to make is, how many kids are in your family right now?
None.
So how the hell are you watching Frozen 1 and 2?
Yeah, Disney Plus.
One Frozen. People were saying it's like the greatest Pixar.
So you checked it out.
Ever created. I had to check it out.
Okay.
People say it's better than Toy Story.
Okay.
It's better than that.
Which is disrespectful.
Total.
And I was very severely disappointed. But
then you came back for 2.
My sister said Frozen 2 actually tells a story. I was like, Frozen don't even tell a story. And she was like, no, Frozen 2 actually tells the story and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I already know what happened in Frozen 1, so let me just check out Frozen 2.
And you like
better than Frozen 1.
When's the last time I've talked to you? Like 2 months, and you're out here watching Frozen 2?
Hey, man, he had to do his research.
There ain't no research on that BS. All right. In a recent interview with Another Man magazine, Jake Gyllenhaal, who starred opposite Heath Ledger in Ann Lee's film, and that's just Brokeback Mountain, said that the late actor refused to present at the 2007 Academy Awards over a joke involving their character's romantic relationship. This is what Gyllenhaal had to say. I mean, I remember they wanted us to do an opening for the Academy Awards that year. They were sort of joking about it. And he refused. He explained, I was sort of at the time like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm always like that. It's all good and fun. And Heath was like, it's not a joke to me. I don't want to make it a joke. Someone wanted to make it a joke, the story or whatever. And he's like, no, this is about love. Like, it's man, like, no. So it's good to know that Heath Ledger would not partake in some of the jokes that probably a lot of us other dudes would have, especially worrying about people thinking about our heterosexuality or questioning it. That he took that. I mean, I with full disclosure, I've seen bits of Brokeback Mountain. I've never watched it.
I've never seen it all the way through either.
Yeah, I've never watched it. I don't like romantic stories with men and women, so I'm definitely not pulling up. Yeah, I'm not pulling up for the cowboy on cowboy. I'm sorry, I couldn't go with it.
Ken's laughing. Ken's laughing. Nobody else is laughing.
Heath Ledger, don't hate me from the high heavens. No, but again, it wasn't my bag. I don't listen. I haven't seen The Notebook. Like any of you go run through the last 50.
I've seen that one.
I know you have.
Chanel made me watch that one soon.
I haven't seen I haven't watched a real romantic movie since, I forget who was in it, but it was like him and his wife were at different points in time. I forget what this means. It came out like
Time Traveler's Wife?
Yeah, it was like they weren't really, I don't know if you could quote unquote say time travel.
The Lake House?
Yeah, The Lake House.
Oh,
actually,
that movie was terrible.
I believe The Lake House may have been the last romantic film. And I've probably seen some in past and just don't remember, but I'm just not for it. And again, I'm telling myself since this virus, like the things that I kind of don't pay attention to, I need to start paying more attention to and watching things that are kind of outside of my own box that I've built over the last years. Because coming up, I would have probably watched Brokeback Mountain. As a kid, I would rent every movie because I wanted content to fill my mind with. I probably would have rented Brokeback Mountain, but as an adult, I haven't. But again, I think it's admirable that he didn't want to make a joke.
Brokeback?
That was where it was named at the place that they was going, Tony. Why you trying to make jokes about it and they loving and stuff like that? See, that's why Tony. Motherfuckers like you watching Frozen 2 by yourself and shit.
hey, if you ever want to find any kind of rom-com, just go to Netflix. They got them for days. We actually watched one independent film, a black film called Love.com. Woo, Jesus Christ. I love
Was it good?
Hell no.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why you bringing it up, bro?
Huh?
Why you bringing it up, bro? You ain't no people.
I'm just saying. It wasn't good.
That black one, boy.
No, but I've seen some good ones though too. I've seen some good ones. So, but no, if you want to find a rom-com, just go to Netflix, man. They got them all. Check this out. They don't go to the theaters anymore, really. They just go straight to Netflix. Even the one with Issa Rae and what's the guy's name?
Yeah, the Indian cat.
Yeah, theirs was supposed to drop this summer in the movie theaters, but it's going straight to Netflix. So Netflix is the home of rom-coms.
I'm waiting for that.
I want to see that one too, though.
I will be surprised if movie theaters come back and like, what if Marvel's like, look, we dropping Black Widow and the rest of our movies this year on
they not.
They not. They cost too much money to make for that. And look, I'll even put it like this: if they drop it on Disney Plus, they're gonna do it like ESPN Plus and those pay-per-view fights.
Right. Yeah.
They're gonna be like, you gotta pay extra. You go through the service to get to that. They're gonna make that money. Think about how much that movies cost, and we already have those subscriptions.
I mean, but how much would the subscription
I can see that happening.
Yeah, I'm good. I can see that too. But I'm just saying, like, we got into this thinking, like, Disney, okay, real talk, they kind of got over on us real quick. We got into this thinking that we were going to get access to stuff like I wanted ESPN Plus because I used to have Insider, and then I hadn't had Insider in a year. And I thought, oh, I'm going to get Insider back, but then I'm going to get these fights? Oh, this is on. And then I said this like a week or two ago. I go to the damn fight page, and it's like, nah, you go through us to get to the pay-per-view. And I'm like, dude, I could have done this through my cable and been straight, like, relax yourself. So, again, these movies with all these stuff that's come out through Marvel and through Disney, which, to be honest with you, I prefer that if I'm paying this service, when you bring it to cable, I should be able to get, or when you put it out at the digital copy of it, I should be able to get the digital copy through my what's-the-name service. Like, I got to wait longer and I'm paying you monthly. And then listen, most of the stuff you have on here, I could have watched within 2 months anyway.
Onward was just released on Disney Plus. We watched that a couple of days ago.
But did you have to pay for it?
No, it's on Disney Plus. So this is what happened.
Is it good? Yeah.
It's straight. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That's the father. Half of the father comes back. And
yeah. It's pretty good. Okay. It's pretty good. So, but they did have it. It was in the theaters, but it wasn't in the theaters that long until everything happened, right? So then it did go to, we talked about a few weeks ago, they were charging you $20 to watch the movie. But like that following week or 2 weeks later, it was on Disney Plus. So it didn't take that long to get to Disney Plus. And I just waited.
It's probably because it's just not that good.
Like, no, it's pretty good. I like it.
You just said it was all right. No, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Reviews.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it ain't great. Ain't just like no old school Jungle Book or nothing like that, or Lion King.
What's the difference between great and pretty good?
Is the Jungle Book really that great?
Oh, I love the Jungle Book.
The old one?
It's my favorite. It's my favorite one.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, it's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's not mine.
We had this discussion.
Jungle Book is mid.
What? Not at all. Not at all.
If it wasn't for Shere Khan, that thing would be garbage.
Facts.
I don't know if I ever seen Jungle Book straight through.
The original cartoon?
I love that hot take.
Yeah.
I love
that hot take.
Jungle Book is a shit. Jungle Book is the shit.
Until that lightning hits the meadow and all that fire starts coming, I'm like, man, can we get to that part?
The elephants, Baloo, all those guys. Man, come on.
Baloo.
D, you want a real hot take?
What's that?
The Fox and the Hound was better than the Jungle.
Bullshit.
Fox and the Hound is a hard watch, though. That thing.
You know what? I'm gonna rename your ass just to fucking. I don't know. Let me think of something. Rename your ass right now. Hot takes.
Yeah, hot take, Tony.
Where is child services at when it comes to Mobley? And then
it's like in 1930 India. They ain't got no damn child services.
And then I need to know, in India, do they have bears in their jungles? Because that's always stood out to me. Like, I haven't heard too many. I haven't heard too many jungle bears. Again, I'm from North America. All right, yeah, we think they do. Because I feel like they just took this black bear, so we got to bring somebody with some rhythm up in here. Dropped his ass right up in there. And he was, what do we do? So, like, when did Roadblock make it to the Jungle Book in this bad boy? All right, listen.
Yeah, they do have bears over there. They do. A man was actually mauled a couple of years ago. I can have a picture of his face if you want to see it.
All right, no. All right, listen. Let's run through this. Because this was actually something that's important.
Okay.
National Academies of Science and Engineering and Medicine They've said that, in effect, don't get hopes up that after reviewing the variety of research reports, a panel concluded that studies of a variety of varying quality have evidence that do not offer a basis to believe that the summer weather will interfere with the spread of coronavirus. The pandemic may lessen because of social distancing and other measures. But the evidence so far does not inspire confidence in the benefits of sun and humidity. Kristen Anderson, immunologist at Scripps Research Translational Institute in California, a member of the Standing Committee on Emergent Infectious Disease and the 21st Century Health Threats and National Academies, said that given current data, we believe that the pandemic will not diminish because of the summer, and that we should be careful not to base policies and strategies around that hope that it will.
I would think that's kind of like common sense, though, because you have, I mean, this pandemic is probably going to spread down to South America. They're coming out of their, no, they're going into their winter. Yeah, we're going into our summer. They're going into their winter, right? Yeah. And definitely, you have like a flu season. This is when it eventually. Jesus Christ! Good God! Good God!
Rona.
I don't even know if I should take these out.
Leave them in.
Leave them in.
Social distancing. I'm not near any of you. This is the point.
So, as I was saying, as Ken was, Lord knows, with talking about pneumonia. But
D, I can't hear you over the ruffling of tissue. Can you say that again, please?
So, but they're going into their flu. They're going to their flu season. But that's a hot climate. You know, it's the weather down there is always hot, just about. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why people thought, like, especially President Dum Dum, oh, well, you know, when it gets warm outside, it's just going to disappear because the sun is out. Like, no, that's
well, they were going after how the flu
works.
But they were going after how the flu usually works.
But they were hoping.
That's what they were going off of.
Yeah, hope. Hope ain't got nothing to do with the fucking virus. The virus is
not anymore.
All right, let's run it.
All right.
Chinese Agriculture Ministry has reclassified dogs, which previously deemed as livestock, as pets in response to coronavirus pandemic. This is
one animal at a time.
This is a hot Ryan take right here. I said Ryan's going to China right here. As far as dogs are concerned, along with the progress of human civilization and public concern and love for animals protection, dogs have been specialized to become companion animals and internationally are considered not to be livestock, and therefore we will not be relegated as livestock in China, the Ministry of Agriculture said in guidelines published on Wednesday. The root coronavirus is thought to have originated in bats that then affected wild animals that were sold in so-called wet markets in Wuhan, where the outbreak began.
Yeah, on National Pets Day, this article, we're talking about this. No, I'm happy that they did that. And now you did see a couple of cases, I think here in America, where the virus was spreading to...
Yeah, tiger.
Tigers.
Did a tiger get it? A tiger got it?
A tiger got it. And it was coming out that dogs were catching it as well.
Yeah, but
they were in China too.
But still, so far, animals can't transmit it to us, right? I thought that's what
I didn't hear.
But no. Now, again, I'm not talking about if you're eating their flesh, but as far as come in contact with, like if I have a dog and he has coronavirus, I don't believe, for what science has said, that dog can transfer it to me. But again, I'm a black man, and I won't be putting my mouth on that dog's face.
But dogs sneeze and stuff. Like Cookie, she should sneeze.
And then you smack them.
Damn.
Smack them. I'm joking.
What are you doing?
You want to teach that dog
You
want to teach that dog not to spread that Rona, right? You better discipline that dog properly. All right. Come on. We got to keep running.
Keep going.
UFC 249 will not proceed on April 18th, despite the UFC president's Dana White's efforts to move forward with the pay-per-view. All of UFC's events have been postponed indefinitely due to the coronavirus pandemic. Today, we call from the highest levels you can. This is what ESPN said. This is what Dana White had to say about ESPN. And the powers that be asked me to stand down and not to have the event, White told ESPN. In a statement, ESPN said it has been in constant contact with UFC regarding UFC 249. Nobody wants to see sports return more than we do, but we didn't feel that this was the right time for a variety of reasons. ESPN expressed its concern to UFC as they understood. Dana White said that he had secured a location to host a weekly fight. We all know it was at the casino, the Tachi Palace Casino Resort in Lemoore, California. That, again, I believe is on Native American land. Yes, on the reservation. Say it properly. It's on a reservation. But anyway, so he was going to do that, and he was going to have Fight Island, and ESPN finally stepped in and be like, homeboy, slow your effing roll.
Mickey Mouse called.
Yeah, like you about to get us in too much trouble if people start to think everything's okay because you trying to go America on every damn thing.
Yeah, no.
But he did say we're going to have Fight Island, and that reservation is going to get a big fight, supposedly.
He did, and listen, I still love the name Fight Island. Like, there has to be some fights on that island. I don't care if it's...
He says it's happening.
I don't care if it's
happening.
It's petty fights or whatever, but it has to take place. All right, last one.
Building it.
Last one. The estranged wife of a NASA astronaut who claimed her spouse improperly accessed her bank account from space has been indicted on charges of lying to federal authorities. Summer Warden, 44, who claimed to have possibly been the first accusation of a crime committed in space, made false statements to NASA office, to the Inspector General, and the Federal Trade Commission, according to a statement by U.S. Attorney Ryan Patrick. A federal jury in Houston returned the 2-count indictment late Friday, but it was unsealed Monday. Wooten married Ann McClain, a decorated astronaut who was once set to be part of NASA's first all-female spacewalk in 2014 and filed for divorce in 2018. In 2019, Wooten filed a complaint by the Federal Trade Commission claiming McClain had stolen her identity while on a 6-month mission aboard the International Space Station. Although she saw no signs of anyone had moved or used funds in the account, the New York Times reported Wooten's parents brought a separate complaint against the NASA office inspector to describe a highly calculated and manipulative campaign designed to win custody of the couple's daughter. So, yeah. These two ladies.
Still a space
crime.
Space crime. Listen, if she didn't have like some dark mask on while she was doing this, alleged space crime is not true space crime. If you don't have something.
The child is mine.
Some type of. Give me your money. You don't have something to that effect. It's not an official space crime.
I would think because you go to international waters, there's no laws. I'm guessing if you go out of space and commit a crime, there's no laws either, right?
Does it depend on what country you're flying on top of, or who owns that space station?
Right. I was going to say, who owns the space station?
So we all going to now go up there and start committing crimes from space.
But again, that is not the first crime committed by space. So for everybody that's scamming out there, there's still a chance to be the first person to officially commit a crime from space. D, take us out.
All right. Hey, thank you everybody for watching us and listening to us. Definitely follow us on on Twitter and IG at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Simply search for all about the podcast, and definitely you can watch us on YouTube. Simply search for D and Davis Show. We pop up on just about every podcast. Click on the bio link, take you to everywhere that we're at. I'm on Twitter, Demons1. Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski. Got Ken down there at That's Davis. Tony Gill, thank you for hopping in with us. Make sure everybody, you tune to all the podcasts that Tony's working on down there at NBC Sports Chicago at that Tony Gill and Sid Kid 80.
All right. We'll be back with Dan Davis, the show, the sports show. We're going to start doing interviews again. Hopefully Tony will bring his ass around a little bit more since he's stuck at home not doing anything. Please don't do anything stupid. And please take care of everybody, not just yourself with this pandemic out there. We'll talk to you later.
We go.
Keep your hands to yourself.
The flip.